This video is on importing Excel and CSV files into HerdMASTER. Firstly, make a backup to ensure that you have a backup to restore if something goes wrong. Then you would go to Utilities, Import, Universal File, Import Utility. We use that feature to import all Excel and CSV files into HerdMASTER. You would create a new template and say Add Template. Give your template a name. Then we need to go and find the file that you want to import. I've just saved it on my desktop. Find the file and say Open, and then click on Load Selected File. If it's an Excel file, the format here would be Excel. If you say load the file and it looks like that, you know your column delimiter is wrong. So you would need to switch between commas and full stops to see which one loads the columns properly. We can say first row contains column names to skip that one, or to skip one or two lines depending on what we have here. I'm going to skip that now. Just first want to map each column, because if we leave it like this and we import it like this, we're going to import an animal with information saying tag electronic ID 6, and we do not want that. First column, so you right click, and then this is the animal tag. So I'm going to go to animal data. There's a whole bunch of information here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you would find which ones you want to import and then just select that. Animal ID, animal tag. Then I have an electronic ID, which is animal data again. Animal ID, electronic. Then I have the sex code. Remember to keep it the same as is in HerdMASTER. If you're going to Afrikaans, you're going to have animals that say male, female, and then you import it in Afrikaans, and then it's going to say manlik, vrouwlik. So you would need to keep that the same. That's going to cause problems if you want to filter and you say female, and then your animals is under vrouwlik. It's not going to pick up those animals. This is animal data again, and sex. This would be the birth year or the date of birth. Animal data, the date of birth. There is one for birth year as well. Then on importing a weight, this is a weight. Weights and traits and movements always want a date, and weights and traits always want an observation code, procedures as well. So if your dates and observation codes are various codes and dates, you would have to have a column here to say under observation codes, and then you're going to have W2, 4, 6, whatever the case may be. If all the dates and all the observation codes are the same, we can add that at the end before we do the import. This is going to be the weight. So I'm going to find weights. That's the actual weight. This is going to be your main property, and location sites is your camps. It's not going to import the main property, but it's going to import the camp that the animal is in under movements. Movements also want a date, but the dates are all the same, so I'm going to add that in the end. You can even add them on worksheets from this import if you want. This was a movement. Location. Now I'm going to say ignore the first row. This is the information that's going to be imported. These columns that were not mapped to a space in HerdMASTER, it's going to leave out. So now I'm going to say save and close. I'm going to click on the template again, select it and say next. Click on the dots to find that file again. Open, then I'm going to say next. This is what you are going to import. Now here I'm going to add the dates and the observation codes. There is a box that you can use to override the date. When you import files from the Excel files from your scale or reader, they tend to have a date with. And HerdMASTER does not recognize, not the date, the time. HerdMASTer does not recognize times. So you would need to override the date so that your cell only contains a date and not a time as well. Otherwise, it's going to give you an error. If it gives you a date error, go back to your CSV file and just go and look at the formats of the dates as well as what that cell is. Is it in text or general? Usually if it's under general, it imports without any problems. So now I'm going to say add a date column. First I want to add a date for the weight. I'm going to leave it at today's date, and then I'm going to add a date for the movement, for the location, and I'm going to say OK, and then an observation code for the weight. And I'm going to say all of them are W2, and I'm going to say OK. You can also change mapping here. If you see that you've done something wrong, you can right click and do it here as well. Then your template is just not going to be changed. You would need to edit the template, which you can also do from the screen. Then I'm going to say next. Take note that when you import new animals, that the first block is ticked that says new or updated animals. That one must also be ticked. If you're only importing new information, you don't have to have that box ticked, and then it would probably only be procedures or weights that you're importing, and then I'm going to say next. It's going to warn you if you import electronic IDs that it's overriding. You just say yes. See if it gives you any failed messages here. Mine says 0, so I'm just saying import. It's saying weights 12 because it's seeing the weight as well as the observation code and the date as well. If you have green ticks on all of them, you say next. I don't see any fails. If it says fail to import one weight or whatever the case may be, you click on import errors and it's going to, you just have to let the arrow hover to see what animals it is. So these ones are all updated. And then this one, it skipped a weight for an animal, probably because it didn't like the date. But now I'm going to say finish, and then we're just going to see if we can find those animals. I'm not going to go through all the error codes, otherwise it's just going to make the video too long. But you will then, if you have errors, just go and see what the error is to fix that. And then I'm going to say finish. Click on refresh. And then let's go and see if it finds one of those animals that I imported. These are one of the animals I imported. I'm just going to open the animal. You would see it's got the animal tag, the electronic ID, date of birth. Let's see if this one was one of the weights that was recorded. Yes, so this weight was also imported. If you have any problems with the universal file import, please contact me. The initial import could get tricky, especially if you're having problems with the dates. Thank you.